Hello, guys. Good evening. How are you?
Hi, teacher. Good evening.
Hi, Miss. Good evening.
Hello.
Good evening, teacher.
Hello. Hello. How is it going, guys? Good?
Better.
Okay, very good, guys. Glad to hear that. All right, and we're going to start our class. Let's start the second part of our class number 6. Let's read the agenda first. I'm sorry, because of my voice, I'm a little bit sick, so apologize for that. Let's read the agenda together, and then we will check the list. Okay, we will check the attendance. So first, we're going to play a game, a vocabulary game of the vocabulary that we studied in the last class, so about money, all these different words that we studied, ship out vocabulary. Then we're going to continue working on unit 3. It's a listening activity. We're going to listen to the case of Stella Liebeck. We're going to answer some questions about the listening, and then we're going to see another topic from unit 3 called inversion with negative adverbials. It's very easy, do not worry. It sounds difficult, but it's not that difficult. It's actually easy. We're going to study that, do some practice, an activity on word wall, and finally writing practice that is going to be done in couples, okay, in groups of 2 students. So that is our agenda, our plan for today. Let's start by checking the list for our students today. Okay, just a moment. I will turn off my camera. Okay, Karina Acevedo.
Present, teacher.
Okay, thank you. Santiago Fonseca.
Here, teacher.
Kiara Martinez.
Present, teacher.
Okay, Jorge Moreno.
Present, teacher.
Okay, Natalia Navarro.
Present.
Okay, Diego Olarte. Okay, Diego, thanks. Manuela Ortiz.
Yes, teacher.
Okay. Joan Sebastián Pavón. Okay. Beatriz Pedraza.
Present.
Xiomara Rincón.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Jessica Ríos. Jessica.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Catherine Rodríguez.
Present, Miss.
Okay. Marlon Sánchez. Okay, Marlon. Thanks. Mendy Santa.
Present, teacher.
Manuel Sepúlveda.
Hello, teacher. Present.
Okay, thank you. María Alejandra Vega.
Present, teacher.
Okay, thanks. And Vanessa Zambrano.
Present, teacher.
Okay, thank you. Very good. Okay, so let's start our class. We're going to start the class with some practice of vocabulary that we studied in the previous class, right? So last Thursday we studied the vocabulary about money, okay, money and enterprise. So we have here, okay? Let's take a look here. This is page 26 and 27. Pages 26 and 27. Okay, so you can use the book to help you if you want just to check the number of letters, etc. So this is basically like hangman game. We're going to have two groups and you will try to guess the words in each of the spaces. All are related to unit 3, so the vocabulary that we have studied so far, okay? So I will create the groups and I will call you one by one to give me a letter. And we are going to go one group and then the other. And when it's your group's turn, you can tell me what is the word. If you know, you can write it on the chat, okay? So listen, the groups. The first group is going to be Karen, Beatriz, Catherine, Kiara, Manuel, Manuela, Marlon, Mendy, and Sebastian. Okay, this is the first group. The second group is Diego, Jorge, Maria Alejandra, Natalia, Santiago, Vanessa, Xiomara, and Jessica. So I will send you a picture so you know what are the groups. I will send it here. Okay, this is one group. So I will call you one by one to give me the letter. But if it is your group's turn and you know the word, you can write it on the chat, okay? But only if it's your group's turn. If it is not your group's turn, then you cannot participate, okay? So wait for your turn and then you can participate. So let's start with the first group, number 1. Karen, you will start giving me a letter.
E.
E, okay, let's see. Okay, perfect. So Diego is group number 2. Give me a letter, Diego. Letter A. Okay, yes, we have it. Beatriz for group 1.
Letter T, teacher.
T. Okay, no. We don't have letter T. Let's see, Jorge. Group 2. S. No, I think S is not there. Okay, so is group number 1 turn? Kiara, you know the word?
Yes, teacher.
Okay.
Could I say the work?
Yes, if you know, you can say it.
Yes. Break even.
Okay. Yes, the word is break even. Good, so we have a point for group number 1. 1 gets 1 point. Okay, now second word. Let's start with group number 2. Maria Alejandra, can you give me a letter?
A.
Okay. No. Let's see, Manuel for group number 1.
E, maybe.
E. No, it's incorrect. Group number 2, Natalia.
S.
S. Okay, yes, we have S. Group number 2, you have, okay. Group number 1, Mandy, you have your hand up. Group number 1.
Yes, teacher. Letter O.
O. Okay, no, incorrect. Group number 2, Santiago.
A. Oh, what are I?
I. Okay, yes, letter I. Okay, Natalia, you have to wait until the next round. Let's see, Catherine, do you know the word is turn group number 1?
Yes, Miss. I think it's stingy. Stingy.
Stingy?
Stingy.
Okay, yes. What is stingy? What's the meaning of stingy?
Maybe
Ah.
like
Ta-
poor people.
no, not poor.
Don't
Tacaño.
don't hate to spend money.
Mhm. Yes. Tacaño. Yes, very good. Okay, next word, word number 3. Let's start with group number 1 again. Manuela? One letter, please.
Teacher, T.
T. Okay, yes, we have T. Vanessa, for group number 2.
O.
Oh, yes, we have it. Okay, group number 1, Marlon. I think Marlon is not available at the moment. Sebastian, can you give me a letter for group 1? Okay, yes, we have A. Group 2, Xiomara, a letter.
L, teacher.
L? No, L is not there. Beatriz, let's start again. A letter. For
B.
group 1. B. B.
B.
No. All right, group number 2, Jorge. Oh, ya está. Oh. You. No, it's not there. Kiara, letter for group 1.
Yes.
S?
Yes, teacher.
No, we don't have S. Maria Alejandra, for group 2.
B.
B? Ya está. B, ya. Otra.
D.
D, okay. No, no D. Let's see, group number 1. Catherine, a letter.
W, miss.
W? No, not W. Okay, let's show a hint. New, different, and better. This is the hint. New, different, and better. Okay. Group number 2. Natalia, can you give me another letter?
F.
F? No. Group number 1. Let's see, Manuel.
S, teacher.
S, just down. S.
Maybe R.
R. No. Okay, let's see if we lose the last one, Santiago. New, different, and better.
I hope. P.
P. Oh no, the word was
Innovative.
innovative. Innovative, okay? New, different, and better. Okay, so we lost. All right. Okay, guys, so we're going to stop here with the vocabulary practice and let's continue with our plan for today. Let's see. Let's open our books on pages 30 and 31, okay? Pages 30 and 31. So the first activity is listening about a case for this lady called Stella Liebeck. Before we start listening, let me show you some words that we're going to find in the audio, so you know what is the meaning of these words. The first word is to tug, is a verb, okay? Tug means to pull hard or suddenly, okay? Like she tugged off her boots. To pull something very hard or sudden. Scalding, when something is scalding, is very hot to the point of burning, okay? So she took a sip of scalding tea, like hirviendo, like it's going to burn you, scalding. To drop someone or something off is to take someone from a place by car and leave them in your way to another place. Entonces es como dejar a alguien, ¿no? O algo. To drop someone or something off. And a lid is the removable cover of a container. For example, this is the lid of my bottle, okay? The lid. This is the name. Yes, Santiago?
No, teacher, is asking you if the third drop somebody or something up could be in Spanish like arrastrar. Cuando decimos arrastrar a alguien, contexto es dejar a alguien en un lugar mientras nosotros vamos a otro sitio.
Okay, yes, it could be. Yes, it could be included in that. But to drop someone off is también solo llevarlo, ¿ok? Voy a llevarlo a tal parte. To drop someone off. Puede ser ambos, o llevarlo o arrastrarlo, como tú dices, si yo voy para otro lugar y lo dejo en el camino, ¿ok? They can be both, mean both things. Yes, Manuel?
Profe, yo tenía entendido que drop off es más como dejar, ¿no? Como cuando
Yes.
uno va en un carro y lo dejan en algún lugar.
Yes, it's the same. O dejar a alguien, o como dice a Santiago, tú vas de en camino a otro lugar, acercas a esa persona hasta un punto, ¿ok? Puede ser ambos. O simplemente cuando te llevan al colegio, I will drop you off at the school, ¿ok? This is the meaning.
Yes. Also, when, for example, we say, I have to drop the meeting.
Okay, yeah, drop has different meanings. Drop puede ser solo dejar. Drop también es dejar caer, to drop. O tiene con otra preposición que es drop out, es como dejar la universidad cuando no continúo con los estudios. I drop out of university, okay? So yes, the verb drop has different uses. In this case, we're talking about dropping off, okay? Dejar a alguien. Yes, Jorge asked, only by car? Yes, it refers when you pick someone up by car and you drop them off, okay? Only by car. All right, so this vocabulary is useful for our first activity here. Look, we have these words, and you are going to match these words to these pictures. You can repeat the pictures, okay? Don't worry, it's not only one word per picture. For example, this picture can be scolding, okay? Or also horrified, okay? So the words can belong to different pictures. To the same picture. You can put two words into the same picture. So we have picture A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and H, okay? And we have this word, 2, 4, 6, 8. Talk, scolding, to drop someone off, delete, damages. Do you know what are damages? Do we know the meaning of damages?
Daños.
Yes, daños. To sue, what is to sue?
Demandar.
Demandar, very good. Horrified and a jury, el jurado, jury, okay? So let's relate them to the pictures. I'll give you 2 or 3 minutes and then we will socialize your answers, okay? So let's have 3 minutes to match these words to these pictures. Right. Let's see which where did you match the words to the pictures. So, for example, the first word, get up, to tug. Where did you put it? How did you match it? Tug. Mhm.
Teacher, I don't know if uh, the picture F or H. I don't know.
Maybe F. The action is to tug, like this, to pull very hard from the lid. So yes, the answer is F, tug. Mhm. So the second word, Manuela, damages. Where did you put it? Damages.
Teacher, H.
H here. Okay, damage. Is there another picture that could be more related to the damages? Maybe
B,
C
teacher.
or B also, she received the money for the damages. Maybe B or C. You can see here she's like on the sofa, maybe she was hospitalized. So we can say either B or C for damages. For scalding, where I think it's H was scalding hot coffee here. To sue, what is the picture? Anyone to sue? G? Maybe G.
Means like
Also maybe
B-G-E.
B, no, because this is for her. Este es a nombre de ella. Okay, so maybe E or maybe G.
G?
B, E and G. Okay, maybe we can say to drop someone off.
A, teacher.
A, yeah, the picture is A. And then we have horrified.
H.
H, definitely. And finally, the last two, lid, is also F. This is the lid of the coffee. And the jury, it's letter G. Yes, the jury is in letter G over here. All right, so according to these pictures, we have a general idea of the story, okay, how it starts, and we're going to listen to it now. So we're going to listen to the story and organize the pictures, okay? I'm not sure yet if they are organized here. I think not, because we need to rearrange them, but I do think this is the first one. So you're going to take some notes and organize the pictures in the correct order, okay? So let's start listening and pay attention.
Unit 3, Recording 2.
Okay, can you listen to the recording?
Yes, miss.
Okay.
The story of Stella Liebeck is often quoted as a symbol of what has come to be known as compensation culture in the USA today. Listen to the facts and make up your own mind. One morning in February 1992, Stella Liebeck, a 79-year-old woman from Santa Fe, New Mexico, drove 60 miles with her son Jim and her grandson Chris to Albuquerque Airport in order for Jim to catch an early flight. After she dropped Jim off, she and her grandson stopped at a burger restaurant for breakfast. Her grandson, who was driving the car, parked so that Stella could add cream and sugar to her coffee. She put the cup between her knees and tried to pull the lid off. As she tugged at the lid, the cup tipped over and scalding coffee poured onto her lap. She screamed, and a horrified Chris rushed to help her. Stella received burns over 16% of her body and was hospitalized for 8 days. Her daughter stayed home for 3 weeks to look after Stella following her release from hospital. Treatment for her burns, including skin grafts, lasted for more than 2 years. Eventually, Mrs. Liebeck wrote to the burger company asking if they would consider selling their coffee at a lower temperature and to refund her medical expenses, about $2,000, plus the lost wages of her daughter who stayed home to care for her. The company offered her just $800. Only then did Stella consult a lawyer, who advised her to sue the company. The jury awarded her $160,000 in actual damages and an extra $2.7 million in punitive damages against the fast food restaurant in question. The sum was eventually reduced to $640,000, but not before there was a huge outcry in the U.S. media, and Stella Liebig had unwillingly become a national celebrity.
Okay, let's listen again.
Unit 3, Recording 2.
The story of Stella Liebig is often quoted as a symbol of what has come to be known as compensation culture in the USA today. Listen to the facts and make up your own mind. One morning in February 1992, Stella Liebig, a 79-year-old woman from Santa Fe, New Mexico, drove 60 miles with her son Jim and her grandson Chris to Albuquerque Airport in order for Jim to catch an early flight. After she dropped Jim off, she and her grandson stopped at a burger restaurant for breakfast. Her grandson, who was driving the car, parked so that Stella could add cream and sugar to her coffee. She put the
Unit 3, Recording 2.
All right, guys. So remember, the listening, when it's very long, like 5-6 minutes, I put the words so you can read. In these listenings that are only 2 minutes, you don't need the words. You need to pay attention. In the exam, we don't have the transcript of the words. So in this case, because it's very short, I won't put the words. Okay, I will restart it and you can listen to it.
The story of Stella Liebig is often quoted as a symbol of what has come to be known as compensation culture in the USA today. Listen to the facts and make up your own mind. One morning in February 1992, Stella Liebig, a 79-year-old woman from Santa Fe, New Mexico, drove 60 miles with her son Jim and her grandson Chris to Albuquerque Airport in order for Jim to catch an early flight. After she dropped Jim off, she and her grandson stopped at a burger restaurant for breakfast. Her grandson, who was driving the car, parked so that Stella could add cream and sugar to her coffee. She put the cup between her knees and tried to pull the lid off. As she tugged at the lid, the cup tipped over and scalding coffee poured onto her lap. She screamed, and a horrified Chris rushed to help her. Stella received burns over 16% of her body and was hospitalized for 8 days. Her daughter stayed home for 3 weeks to look after Stella following her release from hospital. Treatment for her burns, including skin grafts, lasted for more than 2 years. Eventually, Mrs. Liebig wrote to the burger company asking if they would consider selling their coffee at a lower temperature and to refund her medical expenses, about $2,000, plus the lost wages of her daughter who stayed home to care for her. The company offered her just $800. Only then did Stella consult a lawyer, who advised her to sue the company. The jury awarded her $160,000 in actual damages and an extra $2.7 million in punitive damages against the fast food restaurant in question. The sum was eventually reduced to $640,000, but not before there was a huge outcry in the U.S. media, and Stella Liebig had unwillingly become a national celebrity.
All right, guys. Have you got the answers to organize the pictures?
Yes, Miss.
Okay, let's see. So let's start with Vanessa. What is picture number 1? Oops, sorry. What is picture number 1?
And teacher is A.
Yes, number 1 is A. Very good. Maria Alejandra, what is picture number 2? What happened next?
The magics.
What letter of the picture?
B.
B? No. It's not B. Xiomara, do you know what is the second picture? What happens after A?
Picture is D.
It's D. It's D. Not B, but D. Maria, no problem. All right. Let's see. Santiago, what happens next? So what is number 3?
I don't
One.
remember good, teacher.
Okay. Let's see. Anyone has the answer? I will put it here. Number 2. Number 3 is F. Very good. Yeah, she tried to take the lid off. Number 3 is F. Number 4, what happens next?
H.
It's H. She pours the coffee into her lap. H. Number 5, what happens next?
Is C, teacher.
Yes, it's C. She's hospitalized and her daughter has to take care of her. Number 6.
E, perdón, I.
E,
Me-
yes.
E.
E. Oh, 6. Yes. I'm writing this wrong. 5 and 6. E. And what is number 7? So what happens next?
E, teacher.
B. Yes. B.
No.
No?
E. E, teacher.
No, it's G. It's G because
G,
at
G,
the
G.
final she
Yes,
G.
received 2,000.
E.
Yes, miss.
Because it's in a code, teacher.
Let's see. What is?
A code with a jobs.
Yes.
Because in the first part, the company offers hey, she 8 millions, but finally she received 2,000 millions.
Okay. Yes. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 here. 7. 7 is G. And 8 is B, right?
Yes. Finally is B.
The last one is B.
Yes, miss.
All right. Number 8, there we have it. Okay, so that is the correct order for the pictures over here. Okay, now listen, guys. We are going to continue. Here, we are going to listen to 2 people arguing. They are discussing this case. So we have to listen, pay attention, and write some information. What new information do you learn in favor of Stella and in favor of the company? So these are 2 people that are talking about this case, and they will give us new information about Stella, so this woman, or the company. So what is in favor of Stella and what is in favor of the company, okay? So let's listen, pay attention. I will put the audio one time without the text.
Unit 3,
And in the second time, I will put the text so you can check your answers, okay? But first, let's try to pay attention and take some notes.
recording 3.
Okay, so what's your take on this Stella Liebeck thing then?
Well, I think she was entitled to some compensation.
Would you some compensation? What do you mean by some compensation?
Well, I mean, let's be blunt about this. She burdened herself. She had to undergo medical treatment. Her family member had to take time off of work.
What I find really interesting is when you just said that she burned herself. Now, not once did she admit that it was her fault. You've just said she burned herself, and that's exactly what I think. She burned herself, so she shouldn't get any compensation from them.
Yeah, but David, the coffee was absolutely ridiculously hot. It's one thing for a company to serve hot coffee, but it was 180 to 190 degrees.
Companies would not serve coffee that hot if the public didn't demand in the first place that they got really hot coffee. Do it the other way around, you probably get people suing them for having cold coffee and their tooth fell out. I mean, it's, you know, ridiculous.
But the coffee that you have at home isn't that hot, and people say, oh, coffee's great, and that's the temperature that they want. It's 135 to 140. I mean, that's a significant difference
You
in
have to ask
temperature.
you do have to ask yourself why they have it that kind of temperature. I mean, presumably they have it that kind of temperature because people want it that kind of temperature.
Well, okay. I think people want it hot, but you do have to realize as well that there have been approximately 700 cases of people being burned by scalding coffee. So, I mean, obviously restaurants and takeout food places have got to take this on board. They just can't sell it that
There may
hot.
well have been 700 cases of people being burned by scalding coffee, but they didn't all sue, did they? I mean, she's the only one who sued.
No, she's the most famous one because she got most money out of it.
I'm sorry. No way should she have been given that money. No way.
Look, the fast food chain makes $1.3 million a day selling coffee. They could afford this.
It is ridiculous. It is ridiculous to claim that just because a company makes a lot of money and they can afford to pay people compensation, they should. It's the thing is, nowadays what happens is that we have to blame someone, and the person to blame is never yourself. Never ever yourself. It's always somebody else's fault. Always.
Okay, in this case, I will put the text because they are speaking very fast. They are not stopping, so I'm going to help you with the transcript of the conversation so you can take some notes. Remember, what do you hear? New information that is helping Stella, so in favor of Stella, or that is in favor of the company, okay?
Unit 3, Recording 3.
Okay, so what's your take on this Stella Liebeck thing then?
Well, I think she was entitled to some compensation.
What do you some compensation? What do you mean by some compensation?
Well, I mean, let's be blunt about this. She burned herself. She had to undergo medical treatment. Her family member had to take time off of work.
What I find really interesting is when you just said that she burned herself. Now, not once did she admit that it was her fault. You've just said she burned herself, and that's exactly what I think. She burned herself, so she shouldn't get any compensation from them.
Yeah, but David, the coffee was absolutely ridiculously hot. It's one thing for a company to serve hot coffee, but it was 180 to 190 degrees.
Companies would not serve coffee that hot if the public didn't demand in the first place that they got really hot coffee. Do it the other way around, you probably get people suing them for having cold coffee and their tooth fell out. I mean, it's, you know, ridiculous.
But the coffee that you have at home isn't that hot, and people say, oh, coffee's great, and that's the temperature that they want. It's 135 to 140. I mean, that's a significant difference in temperature.
You do have to ask yourself why they have it that kind of temperature. I mean, presumably they have it that kind of temperature because people want it that kind of temperature.
Well, okay. I think people want it hot, but you do have to realize as well that there have been approximately 700 cases of people being burned by scalding coffee. So, I mean, obviously restaurants and takeout food places have got to take this on board. They just can't sell it that
There may
hot.
well have been 700 cases of people being burned by scalding coffee, but they didn't all sue, did they? I mean, she's the only one who sued.
No, she's the most famous one because she got most money out of it.
I'm sorry. No way should she have been given that money. No way.
Look, the fast food chain makes $1.3 million a day selling coffee. They could afford this.
It is ridiculous. It is ridiculous to claim that just because a company makes a lot of money and they can afford to pay people compensation, they should. It's the thing is, nowadays what happens is that we have to blame someone, and the person to blame is never yourself. Never ever yourself. It's always somebody else's fault. Always.
Right? Let's see. Who would like to share? You can raise your hand. What information did you get in favor of Stella, according to the listening? Okay, Mandy, then tell me.
The teacher, in favor of Stella, I heard the coffee was very hot. 101 and 180 grades, and he said is ridiculous.
Yes.
Ridiculous hot.
Yes, it was ridiculously hot. She deserved the compensation because the coffee was extremely hot. Okay, thank you, Mandy. Diego, so now for in favor of the company, what did you hear?
Oh, not really for the company, but I remember that 700 people, nearly 700 people, had been scalding with a hot coffee,
Okay, so
scalding coffee.
this is in favor of Stella also. So in favor of Stella is that the coffee was 180 degrees and that there is more than 700 cases of people burning themselves with hot coffee from restaurants or cafeterias. So this is in favor of her. Now in
Yes,
favor.
but in favor to the company, those people, didn't sue the company when they scalding with the coffee.
Yes, this is in favor of the company, so not everyone sued these companies. Manuel, do you have another opinion, something to add?
Yes, teacher. In favor of Stella, they said that maybe that she was the only one who sued, but 700 people are burned with the scalding coffee. And in favor of the company, the guy said that always people try to blame somebody else because it's always somebody else's fault. And also he said that the company sell about 1.3 million coffees in a day, so they can afford the soup.
Okay, yes. So this is, thank you. We all have the argument here. So in favor of her that the coffee was more hotter than normal, that there had been 700 cases and that these companies have a lot of money so they can pay this compensation. And in favor of the company is that Stella never accepted her fault. She refused that it was her fault. And it's people know that the coffee is hot, so it's their fault if they spill the coffee, okay? And this will lead to more and more ridiculous claims and lawsuits if all 700 people sue the companies for spilling hot coffee, right? Okay, guys, excellent. So we finished the listening part of the activity. Now we are going to focus on, yes, Mandy, tell me.
Teacher, I see a problem with the listening. It's about the proof. How Stella knows about the temperature of the coffee.
Yes, we are not sure.
It's a problem with the proof, or how do you say, proof in a code?
Okay, yes, I agree. Because how does she know?
Yes, how can she demonstrate this temperature?
Yes.
Problem.
That is correct. Okay, so to finish this part, I want to ask your opinion. So what do you think? Did Stella, this woman, deserve this compensation for what happened? Yes or no, and why? So if you want to tell me about it, raise your hand, open your microphone, and tell me what is, okay, Manuel, what is your opinion?
Well, teacher, I think maybe she could blame the company for something like the kind of lids they use for their coffee. Maybe it's not like very easy to open, or something like that, but not. I don't agree the reason she gave for the for the soup. It was too hot, but I mean I don't find I don't think the same. I don't agree with her.
Okay, all right.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Let's see, Diego, you have another opinion?
Yes, teacher, I think that it was her fault.
Okay. So
And
you don't think she deserves the money?
no, I think that it wasn't necessary to do the company, to sue the company.
To sue the company, you don't agree. Okay, well, we are not sure 100% of the temperature of the coffee, but if there was more than normal, I think she should receive the compensation, because when you get burned by hot liquid, like your skin gets all red and maybe peels off, like this is very bad, like this is serious injuries. So I think this was what happened to her, because she was hospitalized. So it was not a normal temperature in the coffee. I think it was more than what is normal, what is accepted. So I don't know, maybe it was right. Yes, Catherine?
Yes, Miss, I think the same, because sometimes the company don't spend money in have better talk for to go home people. If the coffee was really hot, but she received clinical treatment, and she was really injured.
Yeah, she was very injured, so maybe the compensation was okay, was right. Okay, excellent, guys. In this part, in this listening, we have some examples of our topic for today. This topic is called inversion with negative adverbials. Okay, this inversion is used to give emphasis to part of the sentence, especially in formal or written situations, okay? So this is not very common in normal speech, like on day-to-day, but it is more formal or in written speech, okay? So we have these sentences, we have 3 sentences, and I want you to try to organize them before we listen, okay? So we have the word consult, did, a lawyer, only, Stella, then, okay? The other, did not once her fault, it was admit that she, and all the money have been given, no way she should. I want you to try to think, remember the audio, if you can think of how the words were organized in the sentence to construct it, okay? So I'll give you some minutes to try to organize it. If you don't remember, if it's incorrect, do not worry, okay? Let's try to do it. Exercise our memory if we can put the words in the correct order to form a sentence, okay? Let's do it, and then we listen to check if we have the correct answers. Okay, let's have 5 minutes.
Sure, I have a question.
Okay, let's see. Let's start. For example, Karen, can you tell me how did you organize the first sentence?
Only then Stella consult a lawyer.
Only then did Stella consult a lawyer?
Yes.
This is correct. Maria Alejandra, the second sentence.
It was admit that she didn't want her fault.
Okay, not exactly. Don't worry. We are going to check the correct answer next. And let's see, for example, Santiago, for the third sentence. How did you organize it?
I organized Stella did.
No, the third.
Oh, the third is I listened this the first the third. She should have been given all the money in Norway.
Okay, not exactly. So this is why I wanted you to try to organize it, because the structure of these sentences is a little bit different. Yes, Mandy? Tell me.
Sure, this is a question or a assignment?
Okay, this is a statement, but we don't start with the subject, okay? So that is why the organization is different. We are giving emphasis to parts of the sentence, so the structure of the sentence changes. It looks like a question, but is not a question, okay? So let's take a look or to the answers here, and then we are going to explain why this happens. So the first one was only then, solo entonces. Did Stella, we organize it as if it was a question. We put the auxiliary and then the subject. Only then Stella consults a lawyer. 2, not once, this is the adverbial, not once, did is the auxiliary, did she admit that it was her fault? And 3, no way is the adverbial, no way. Should is the auxiliary verb, should, she is the subject, have been given all that money, okay? So these are the correct answers, and this is used to give emphasis to parts of the sentence. Let's take a look at the presentation here. We're going to check quickly this topic, and then we do some practice, okay? So taking this into account, this is formal English, okay? This is not something that we use on the regular day-to-day, but it's more formal, okay? In these cases, we put a negative or restricted adverb. Eso se llama un adverbio negativo o restrictivo, ¿no? Not only, rarely, nowhere, okay? We put it at the beginning of a sentence to make the sentence more emphatic or dramatic. Eso es como lo podemos definir, es más énfasis o más dramático. When we do this, the adverb is followed by an inversion. Por eso se llama una inversión, ¿no? It's invertido. We put the adverb plus the auxiliary verb plus the subject plus the verb, okay? The original sentence was, I could find my keys nowhere, okay? So we start, nowhere could I find my keys, okay? We start with the adverbial negative or restrictive adverb. Other adverbs that we can use, never, hardly, no, not only, all these adverbs, we can use them, okay? When we invert a sentence, move the adverbial to the beginning of the sentence and invert the subject and the auxiliary verb. Let's see. The original sentence, I had never met someone so interesting. Never, we start with the adverb, never had is the auxiliary verb, never had, subject I, met someone so interesting, okay? He won't often go to work, not often, entonces empezamos con el adverbio, not often, will he go to work. Vemos acá cómo cambió la oración. Acá era won't. Como la negación pasó al adverbio not often, el will queda otra vez en su forma original. Not often will he go to work, okay? Acá está la explicación. Notice that if the auxiliary verb is negative in the first sentence, it becomes affirmative in the inverted sentence, okay? And the not moves to the front. Entonces, aquí en este ejemplo, aquí debería ir este. I couldn't find my keys nowhere, okay? Entonces, la negación pasa al principio, nowhere, y el verbo queda en su forma positiva. Could I find my keys? De igual manera en esta, won't often go to work. Aquí el won't está con el verbo, debemos pasarlo al principio de la oración, not often, y el verbo queda en su forma positiva, ¿ok? When we don't have an auxiliary verb, entonces en esas oraciones en todos tenemos verbo auxiliar. Would, aquí era will, no tenemos más ejemplos, ok, could y will. En oraciones donde no hay verbo auxiliar, when we don't have an auxiliary verb, for example, present simple or past simple, we must add the auxiliary verb. In this sentence, I rarely go outside. To transform it, we put rarely, this is the adverb. We don't have an auxiliary verb, so we need to add the auxiliary verb, okay? Rarely do I go outside. Entonces, si la oración no tiene el verbo auxiliar, debemos añadirlo, do, o does, o did, okay? Another example, they don't ever know what to do. Never, entonces vamos a analizar esta. El no está aquí, don't ever. Ever negativo es never, okay? Alguna vez y nunca. Never, verbo auxiliar do, never do they know what to do, okay? Entonces, ¿cuáles son las reglas? Si está negativo, el negativo siempre va al principio con el adverbio y si no tiene verbo auxiliar, debemos añadir do, does o did, okay? So, do we have questions about these inversions? Yes, Beatriz, he rarely works in his house, then rarely does he work in his house. Como tienes el does, ya el verbo work en la segunda oración no lleva la S, ¿ok? Como ya tienes el auxiliar does he work in his house? Yes, Manuel?
Basically, it's like changing it to a question, right?
Yes. So it's like changing it to a question, but using the adverb at the beginning of the sentence. ¿Ok? Usar el adverbio al principio y la estructura es igual, similar a la de una pregunta.
Teacher, another question. In which situation could we use this kind of language?
Okay, this is, for example, in a story, when you are telling a story, to add like drama or emphasis. This one is very common. Little did they know that for example, this sentence I wrote on the chat. Little did they know that they were being watched by the police. Okay, so this sentence, little did they know, adds emphasis or drama. So to the fact that they didn't know that they were being watched by the police. Okay, so this is more like written text, written format, or in formal situations like in a speech or when people are in formal settings. This is used in this context, okay? Especially when you are telling stories to add like dramatic effect, okay? This is it. So I have a video here and I want us to watch the video together. She will explain some part and then has some exercises that we can do together so we can start practicing the inversion, okay, with the adverbial form. So just give me a moment to put the video. Okay. Okay, can you see the screen with the video?
Jennifer from English with Jennifer. In this lesson, we're going to talk about inversion. Do you know what it means to invert something? I'll give you a hint. What did I do with the hourglass? I inverted it. When you invert the hourglass, the sand pours down into the bottom part. How about this photo? Can you see it properly? Probably not. Let me invert it. I'll rotate it and put it right side up. Now can you see it? In grammar, if we invert two parts of a sentence, we reverse their positions. You already know how to do this. We invert the subject and verb when we form questions. Have you ever seen such clear blue water? Yes, I have. I've seen beautiful water in the Bahamas. We can also invert the subject and verb in sentences that use negative adverbs. We do this when the negative adverb is in the initial position. That means it starts the sentence. We don't usually do this in spoken English. It's more typical of written English because it's a more formal structure. So you can expect to see inversion with negative adverbs more in academic writing and literary writing. Let's practice together. Look at this sentence. First, identify the negative adverb.
All right, guys, so let's try to organize the sentence. Let's do it together. You can write on the chat. I have never seen such clear, beautiful water. So how can you use the negative adverb? Okay, yeah, we start with never. Never what?
Never do I have seen such clear, beautiful weather.
Never have I seen such. It is correct.
Yeah, teacher.
Never have I seen.
Never, right? We'll move it to the beginning of the sentence. Next, we'll invert the subject and verb, only the first part of the verb. We'll use the helping verb first.
Never have.
So what's the new sentence? Never have I seen such clear, beautiful water. Try this one.
Okay, next. I could hardly believe that such beauty existed underground. I could hardly believe that such beauty existed underground.
Hardly can.
Hardly.
Could I believe?
Yes, hardly could I believe. It is correct. Let's listen to her.
Start with the negative adverb. Invert the subject and verb. Is there a helping verb? It's a modal verb. Put that first. Then the subject. And what's our new sentence? Hardly could I believe that such beauty existed underground. Okay, next one.
Okay, we have another one. People seldom, this is the other, seldom, have time to appreciate the nature in our busy world. Okay, let's see how can we do it.
Seldom do.
Yes, very good. Seldom do people have the time to appreciate nature in our world. Very good. Here the verb have is the main verb, is not the auxiliary. So we need to add the auxiliary verb. In this case is the verb do. Very good.
What are we going to start with? Seldom. There's no helping verb here, so we'll need to get one. If we changed this into a question, what helping verb would we use? Do. That's what we need. Verb plus subject. And what's the new sentence? Seldom do people have the time to appreciate nature in our busy world.
All right, very. So you understand, you get the idea of the inversions with negative adverbs, okay? So let's read all the examples that we have here. Let's read them together and then we start our practice. Let's see, Jessica, can you read the first 3 examples here? 1, 2, 3.
Yes, teacher. Only Sandy, I understand what was happening. Only now can I appreciate the difficulties of the situation. No one did he offer to pay.
Thank you, very good. Xiomara, can you read the other 3, please? 1, 2, 3.
Rarely, seldom, never before had I experienced such kindness and hospitality. No longer will we accept its low standards. Under no circumstances shall you wander around alone after that.
Thank you, very good. And finally, let's hear Marlon, the last two, on and not only. Marlon is not here, maybe Kiara, the last two, please.
Oh no.
What happened?
Oh no, I can't mask you overexert yourself.
Yes, overexert yourself.
And not only did he take all our money, but he also betrayed our trust.
Great. Okay, so you can see all these examples with different adverbs. Only then, only now, not once, rarely or seldom or never, no longer, under no circumstances, on no account, not only. Do you know what is overexert? Overexert yourselves.
No, teacher.
Sobreesforzarnos. Okay, overexert yourself. Okay, and the last one that we have here, this one is more common in informal language. This is no way. No way means it's impossible, right? No way will we be finished by then, okay? No way will you finish homework before the next class, for example. This structure with no way, it's used in more informal or spoken language, okay? The others are more common in written stories or academic text, okay? Okay, guys, so I think now we are ready to practice. Let's take a look on page 31, page 31.4. You are going to make these sentences look more formal, replacing the words that are in bold, using the inversion with negative or restrictive adverbs, okay? So we have, for example, the first, our country does not need to rely on foreign investment anymore. So you have to use the adverb no longer. No longer does our country, okay? So you can continue transforming it. I will do the first to help you, and then you can do the next 8 sentences alone. So number one, you can transform it like this. No longer does our country need to rely on foreign investment, okay? So did you notice that we take the not with the verb from the verb, we put it at the beginning, and anymore is the idea of anymore, ya no más, is included in the adverb no longer, okay? Entonces, como el adverbio es no longer, ya no más, nuestro país necesita apoyarse en inversión extranjera, ya. Entonces, de la oración quitamos not, del verbo y el anymore, ya. Esos son los no lo necesitamos. So, this is why here we have make any other changes necessary. Nos dice que podemos hacer los cambios necesarios en las oraciones. ¿Ok? Let's do it. We will have 10 minutes to work on this, and then we are going to check it together. Okay? If you have questions, please let me know. Let's work individually, and then we socialize it. Right, guys, are you ready? Do you need another minute?
No, teacher, one more.
Okay. All right, guys, let's check the answers very quickly. Let's start one by one. So, Jorge, can you read the second sentence? How did you organize it?
Okay, teacher, I'm not sure, but I put under no circumstance, not certainly, should you borrow money without checking the interest rates.
Now, in this case, we change this not if we don't include it anymore. Okay, so we put under no circumstances should you borrow under no circumstances should you borrow money without checking the interest rate. Okay, so the certainly includes the idea under no circumstances. Okay, entonces como ya la incluye,
Okay.
lo quitamos. Okay, we remove it. Okay, next it's going to be Mandy, number 3.
Teacher, only now are we finally seeing the benefits of the government's policies?
Okay, yes, only now are we seeing the benefit of the government policies. It's correct.
Yes, teacher.
It is correct. Number 4, let's hear Beatriz.
Teacher, rarely has a change of governments had such a dramatic effect on the economic outlook?
Yes, rarely has a change of government had such a dramatic effect on the economic outlook. It's correct. Okay, Diego, number 5.
Okay, only then does Frederick looked.
No, sorry. In this case, the first part, it stays the same. Frederick looked for his wallet to pay. Only then, so
Okay.
we don't modify the first part. So only then.
Does he realized he had left all his money at home.
No, only then did he realize he had left. El verbo está en pasado. El auxiliar es did, okay? Only then did he realize he had left his money at home, okay? Not does, sino did.
Okay, teacher.
Okay. Natalia, number 6, please.
Okay, teacher. Number 6. On no account, shouldn't you reveal details of your bank account over the telephone?
Okay. Yes, because we have here no on no account. So the verb should doesn't have not, okay? Este not se elimina porque está al principio. On no account should you reveal the detail of your bank account over the telephone. Okay? Entonces, debemos tener cuidado con esto. Si el not está con el auxiliar, shouldn't, por ejemplo, como ya pusimos not al principio, entonces el verbo auxiliar ya no lleva el not. On no account should you reveal the details of your bank account over the telephone. Okay, let's see. Santiago, yes, number 7.
Okay, teacher. This country never before has witnessed.
Never before
has
this country. We start with the adverb. Never before has this country witnessed such a serious financial crisis. Okay. Let's see, maybe Maria Alejandra, number 8.
Seldom has a politician admit soliciting.
For a mistake, the verb, auxiliary verb is does. So seldom does a politician admit publicly he has made mistakes. Okay? So the auxiliary verb is does. And finally, the last one.
Teacher, does a politician admit?
Admit, yes, admit.
Okay.
I forgot to put the verb. Yes, admit. We don't put the S in the verb. And the last one, let's see, maybe Jessica. George had to pay a large fine.
George has to pay a large fine. Has not only, also has he to spend something in prison.
Okay, so the correct answer is not only does did George have to pay a large fine, let me write it, a large fine, but also he also had to spend some time in prison. Okay, so this is the complete sentence. Not only did George have to pay a large fine, but he also had to spend some time in prison. Okay? This is the correct order. Yes, Manuel?
Teacher, is it possible to use the same structure in the second part of the sentence? Something like also has he had to spend some time in prison?
But also had, no, this goes only after the first part or the first adverb, okay? The negative part of the adverb. Okay, so in the other part, it's not possible. Only
Okay,
when we
teacher.
have the negative or restrictive adverb. I will put the answers here in case you want to check them. Okay, there you have them. I will send you one more activity for these couple last minutes of the class. It's very short, and this activity is also with inversion. So we have the adverb under no circumstances, and you select the correct one. Okay, so let's do it together to finish our lesson today. Under no circumstances, I would accept their offer. I would have accepted their offer. Would I have accepted their offer? What do you think?
Hey, teacher.
A. Anyone else has other answers?
Teacher.
C.
C.
The answer is C. Under no circumstances would I have accepted their offer. Remember, the auxiliary verb and then the subject. Okay, let's see the second one. Nowhere else. Oh, sorry. Nowhere else.
Will you find?
We have two. Will you find such nice furnitures? Will you find such nice furniture?
I think it's B.
What is the
B?
different, teacher?
Okay. The trick here is S. This
Okay, B.
word, furniture, is not countable. So we use B. Okay. Muebles en inglés no es contable, furniture. Not only is she beautiful, but is she also smart? Not only she is beautiful. Yes, here we have the question that Manuel asked.
Yeah.
So this is not correct. The correct structure is this. Not only is she beautiful, but she is also smart. Okay. So the inversion is only in the first part. Okay, next. Never in my life.
Could I not?
A.
Yes, it's A.
Will I go?
Never in my life will I go out with Jack again. Here we have the negative part, so we don't include the negative in the rest of the sentence. It's A. Never will I go out with Jack again. On no account.
Must you repeat this to anyone?
Okay,
C.
yes. C. Excellent. I think Beatriz got the topic perfectly.
This this topic is understand very well, teacher.
Very
Yeah.
good. Yes, Stephen would have lent you his camera.
Have you asked him too?
B, had you asked him to? Okay, excellent, guys. Very good. Great. So we didn't have time to do the writing part today, so we will do it tomorrow at the beginning of our class, okay? So be ready. Once we start, we will begin with the writing exercise, and it's going to be only 10 to 15 minutes, okay? So don't worry, we'll do it tomorrow during the class. Thank you, guys. That is all. Have a good night. Bye.
Good night, me. See you tomorrow.
Thank you,
Bye,
teacher.
teacher. Have a good
Bye,
night.
Teacher.